What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live as always from the man cave. You guys know how it is with me. You go weeks and don't get a video at all, and then I get a day off and you get several. So this will be one of those days. Last video, of course, you guys got my Garth Brooks Legacy unboxing that was done far better by so many people because I didn't have enough knowledge on it, and I didn't do the research. And anyway, you guys know me. This one, back in my lane, back in something I know with all my heart without having to do so much research. Recent jazz arrivals. Stay tuned to the very end of this video, guys. Grails. Grails. You guys know my stance. I like to lead off with a holy shit record. The reason this one's not at the very end because it's a reissue, but it's a holy shit record. Hank Mobley, Mobley's Message. Holy shit pressing. Mono, Japanese, from the 70s if I'm not mistaken. Very well done. It was just burning up the platter about 20 minutes ago. Hank Mobley, Donald Byrd, Jackie McLean, Barry Harris, Doug Watkins, and Art Taylor on the sticks. There's about 3 or 4 in that lineup that I just named. They're all-time favorites and on their respective instruments for me. Mobley, Donald Byrd, McLean, and Art Taylor, all. And, you know, Watkins too. I mean, hell. It's a sick record, guys. If you don't have it, next up, Conception. It is a prestige compilation. Stan Getz, Miles Davis, Zoot Zims, Sonny Rollins, Gary Mulligan, and Lee Konitz. It's an original mono pressing. West 50th Street, NYC. Address, so obviously a big deal. Nothing, you know, in the way of major, but yeah, there's contributions from each of the artists that I just named. Great stuff. Covers Seen Better Days. The wax is pretty solid. Got that from my boy Dylan at Noble Records. Thanks, my man. Next up, one that I picked up. Got to tell you guys, working in a record store for 8 hours can be dangerous because what happens is when you get some downtime, a little less traffic in the store, you start throwing on records you're just curious about. And in my case, if you're me, oftentimes you end up taking them home. So one particular, I got to a down stretch in the store. Didn't last long, but long enough for me to throw this on. Sons of, I'm not sure how to say this, guy, so I'll throw my best shot at it. Sons of Kemet, I think. Your Queen is a Reptile. Recent, new jazz, well, relatively new jazz band. Been out for a few years, got a few albums out, but evidently what I didn't know was, well, you know, worldwide acclaimed, very heralded in the modern jazz community. You just don't hear that much about them. But the cover drew me in, I thought was cool. And of course, Impulse. So immediately, and then I knew it was new, Impulse. It's Afrobeat, world music, if you will. It's great. There's a couple of tracks with vocals, you know, a little hip hop thrown in here or there. So some Afrobeat, a little bit of hip hop, just a little bit of like post bop type style, enough to keep traditionalist, you know, tuned in, which I dug because I didn't expect it. It came from out of left field, so it's awesome. 2 LPs. What I found very interesting about my particular copy, and I don't know if anybody else has this album or has the same issue. I'm getting close for you guys, but so this is the second LP, and if you'll notice, it's a double stamped side D label. So there's a C and D, double stamped D label though, one on each side. And at first I thought, oh man, I'm hoping that they didn't press the same music on each side. And they didn't. It's C and D side represented musically, but double-sided D stamp label. So I actually, a lot of people, you know, don't like imperfections like that, but I find them cool. They're good talking pieces. They're awesome. Any of you other guys who have this album, if your pressing is the same, I'd be interested to hear about it in the comments. But for those of you who don't know what it is, you know, Amazon Music, Apple Music, that shit, look it up. Let me know if you like it. YouTube it, whatever. And it's new wax, so it's cheap, $25 and under. Found it very cool. It also comes with a download code. If any of you guys want the download code, first person to message me saying they want the download code, I'll send it to you. Unless the previous owner had it, of course, used it, of course, but I'll look into it. But the track titles, My Queen is Ada Eastman, My Queen is Mamie Phipps Clark, excuse me, My Queen is Harriet Tubman, My Queen is Anna Julia Cooper, My queen is Angela Davis. My queen is Nanny of the Maroons. My queen is Ya Asantewa. My queen is Albertina Sisulu. My queen is Doreen Lawrence. So track titles, of course, paying homage to some of the great women of the world, and I dug that. I really dug the concept, so it's cool, guys. Take a look at it. I highly recommend it. And again, any of you guys want the download code and it hadn't been claimed already, I'll let you boy, because I'm gonna do that. I won't use it. Next up, the sax section. Jazz Workshop under the direction of Al Cohn. It's on Epic. Good stuff. Don't know much about this one, to be completely honest with you. Might as well be. But I am familiar with the people who play on it. Al Cohn's on it, Gene Quill's on it. More Al Cohn than Gene Quill. Socialinger's on it. So they break it down tune by tune. It's not the same lineup on every one. But anyway, there's some names on it. You guys will recognize it. There were enough names on there for me to give it a stab for the price I paid for it, which was not much. Next up, Trigger Happy. Trigger Alpert's Absolutely All-Star 7. Arrangements by Tony Scott, Marty Page, and Dick Hyman, with Zoot Sims, Joe Wilder, and Al Cohn. Good stuff. And as you guys know, Splat Al on that Riverside OG mono. Really is good in one of the cheaper Riverside titles, but if it's on Riverside, it has to be considered. It just has. It has to be. They weren't putting out garbage. Next up, Bases Loaded. I'll let you guys guess who the gentlemen are. Milt Hinton, Wendell Marshall, and Bull Rutherford. I'll let you guess what it is they play. Yeah, Bases Loaded. Wendell Marshall, of course. Legend on the bass, going all the way back into the 30s. It's on RCA Victor. This album looks like it was never played. Really, God bless. People who either A, don't listen to their old records so I get the best version, or people who just take really good care of them. Either way, God bless you, because I get a clean record. Next up, Stan Getz, Sweet Rain. It's on Verve. Super cool, gatefold. Show you guys. Again, another one of those examples of one that's, oh my God, unbelievably clean. But Stan Getz, killer lineup on this one. Ron Carter on the bass, Grady Tate on the drums, and Chick Corea on the piano. All of those guys, you know what the hell they're doing, needless to say. This is an original mono as well. Once again, on Verve. Bam. Next up, Dizzy Gillespie, The Source. It's on Jazzman. What else needs to be said is Dizzy Gillespie. You know, amongst the greatest careers in the history of any jazz musician, period. Again, on Jazzman. Later, Dizzy, obviously. Dizzy Gillespie on the trumpet, Kenny Drew on piano, Niles Henning, Orsted Peterson on the bass, Kenny Clark on drums, Umberto Canto on tubas, and Johnny Griffin on the tenor. So, man, that's a hell of a lineup. And I'd never heard it blind by for me because damn it's Dizzy and damn that personnel I just read out. On Jazzman, it was very cheap. Next up, Preface, the Morris Nanton Trio. Consists of those three gentlemen that you see on the cover here. So, Trident label Prestige release. Morris Nanton, of course, on the keys, Norman Edge on the bass, and Oliver Jackson on the sticks. That's 11 compositions. Very, very, very good stuff. And once again, another one of the ones that can be found for cheap. But if you guys aren't familiar with Morris Nanton, this is a really good place to start. Trio setting, brilliant pianist. I gotta tell you guys, there's a lot of times I'm in the mood for an album just like that. A lot of times, usually early in the day, late at night, or early in the morning. Depending on how much time and beer I have in the house. Next up, I cannot pronounce this. I will not. Why? I took 1 year of French in 7th grade, realized nobody spoke that language, and dropped it. Les liaisons dangereuses. Sorry for anybody who's watching this from France or that speaks French for butchering your beautiful language, because again, that's why I took it, because I thought it was beautiful. And then realized I couldn't use it because nobody speaks French in America. So it's on Charlie Parker Records. You jazz aficionados, no doubt, know who the hell Charlie Parker is, and if you don't, you need to look into that. Furthermore, I don't know why it is you're following, so sub into my channel. Charlie Parker Records. It might be the first one that I actually own off Charlie Parker Records, but I was indeed familiar with it. By the way, the music on that one was composed and conducted by the great Duke Jordan. Jazz Premiere, Washington, the Paul Winter Sextet. Paul Winter Sextet consists of these 6 gentlemen that you see in the photo above. Cool album cover in my opinion. Paul Winter on the alto. Les Rout on the baritone, Dick Whitshell on the trumpet. Warren Bernhardt on the keys. Richard Evans on the bass, and Harold Jones on the sticks. It is a mono Columbia 2-eye Canadian press. Yeah. Don't have too many Canadian pressings in my collection. But immediately I looked at it and knew there was something different about it. I don't know. You look at so many. When it comes to your all-time favorite record labels, you guys know. You can take a look at it and know that something's different about it, especially if it's European, because the sleeves are flimsier. I ain't telling you guys nothing you don't know there. Good thing about a big stack to show you guys means it's a 2-beer video. I'd love to tell you guys that I'm going to edit this out, but you know better. I won't waste your time. You guys get to lovingly see me pour myself another adult beverage. The things that you get tunes from the man cave. Cheers, ladies and gents. Next up, Fire Music, Archie Shepp on Impulse. You guys are no doubt noticing a little something different about the cover. You know, that's not the standard. This is a 1995 reissue. Limited edition pressing. So it says. I like that Impulse inner sleeve. Yeah, maybe they should have rode that out from after that, because the ones you get now don't have that, but that's sweet. I like that. But yeah, Fire Music, Archie Shepp. You guys are no doubt familiar with Archie Shepp. On this one, Impulse, so obviously you got to see the gatefold. Unless, of course, you bought Blue World, in which there is no gatefold. But here it is. Ted Curson on the trumpet, Joseph Orange on the trombone, Archie Shepp, of course, on the tenor, Marion Brown on the alto, Reggie Johnson on the bass, and Joe Chambers on the sticks. Very good stuff. Of course, with Archie Shepp, you guys know pretty much you can either for the most part, you either love it or hate it. It's a lot of free jazz, stuff like that, and I have to be in a special mood to listen to it. I won't even lie, but it's good enough for me to have, especially as such a big Impulse fan, and you can't deny the talent. Next up, sticking with the Impulse vibe, Take It From Me, Terry Gibbs Quartet, featuring Kenny Burrell, Sam Jones, and Louis Hayes. I mean, hell, that's a lineup for y'all ass right there. Stereo press. Once again, got to show you the gatefolds, bled out. And the idea behind this, of course, I'll read the back. Terry Gibbs plays with an amazing amount of vitality, which he does. This album is no exception. Here he is joined by young, exciting jazz men. They produce soulful ballads, medium tempo tunes, and a few real cookers. Terry, of course, on the vibes. Kenny Burrell on the guitar, Sam Jones on the bass, and Louis Hayes on the sticks. Great stuff. Great stuff. Cheaper Impulse title. It's got that Impulse. This one in particular has that Impulse ABC. So not the orange and black we all love, but still great pressings. They all sound great. They always do. Next up, More Power, Dexter Gordon on Prestige. It's got that not so attractive green, yellow, whatever the hell color that is labeled on it. But it's Dexter Gordon. Bought that shit. Dexter Gordon on the tenor, James Moody on the tenor, Barry Harris on the piano, Buster Williams on the bass, and Al Tootie Heath on the sticks. Great record, guys. Great record and cheaper one. A little later in the great Dexter Gordon's career. Next up, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers and the Elmo Hope Quintet featuring Harold Land. This is an interesting release in that on the A side, you have two tunes by the Jazz Messengers, of course, Art Blakey on the drums, Bill Hardiman on the trumpet, Jackie McLean on the alto, Sam Dockery on piano, Spanky DeBrest on the bass, and then on side two, of course, the Elmo Hope Quintet, Elmo Hope on the keys, Harold Land on the tenor, Stu Williamson on trumpet, Leroy Vinegar on bass, Frank Butler on drums. Great both ways. So many of my favorite jazz musicians, of course, obviously on this album. Between Blakey, McLean, Elmo Hope, Harold Land. Yeah, so many of my favorites. So it's awesome stuff. And it's on Pacific Jazz, which of course you guys are going to be familiar with Blakey, obviously from, he had a couple Impulse releases, but what you're really thinking, of course, is Blue Note, and which is what you should think of. The debut album was on Columbia for the Jazz Messengers. But anyway, next up is one that literally just showed up at my house. It's Blue Lights, Kenny Burrell, Volume 1. For those of you who know jazz, you know that if I were showing you an original pressing, this would be a holy shit moment. It's not. It's one of those bad boys. But still, great record anyway. I'll upgrade someday. This will belong to one of you guys. Louis Smith on trumpet, Junior Cook, Tina Brooks on the tenor saxes, Kenny Burrell on guitar, Duke Jordan, Bobby Timmons on the keys, Sam Jones on the bass, Art Blakey on the sticks. Thank you, Jobs. My boy CMJ Vinyl. Fun story, he bought 2 off of me. I sent them to him a couple days ago. His haven't arrived yet. He put this in the mail for me yesterday and it's here. That's how bad my local post office sucks. So they're getting ready to get a piece of my mind here very shortly. Anyway, another topic for another day. Next up, Just Jug. Gene Ammons. You can't go wrong with Gene Ammons, guys. You just can't. This is on Argo. It's an original press. It's a beautiful record because anything Jug is great. Highly recommend it to anybody. I highly recommend this and any other album with Gene Ammons on it. Of course, Boss Tenor would be my favorite Gene Ammons record. But one of these days I'm going to do a video and I'm just going to run through some Gene Ammons albums I think you guys should have because not nearly enough attention, not nearly enough appreciation. But man, the tone's beautiful. The records are awesome. Next up, introducing Jimmy Cleveland and his All-Stars. Obviously, they call it Introducing for a reason. It's on Marcy. Splat out, great stuff. Some wonderful record. I'm looking for the entire lineup. But anyway, either way about it, this is a great record, guys. You should look into it. I'm trying to keep this video shorter than what it is so far. Sonny Stitt, Feelings on Roost. Roost, very underappreciated label. I like a lot of stuff on Roost. I would definitely look into it if I were you guys. Phenomenal stuff, and of course, Sonny Stitt. There's that Roost, always sturdy pressings, always great music. You really just, you can't beat it, honestly. But a phenomenal album. I would recommend pretty much any Sonny Stitt release. Next up, Chet Baker on Riverside. Chet Baker plays the best of Lerner and Lowe. Cover obviously not perfect. Got some tape over there on the side. But it is on Riverside. It is an original mono press. And I like Chet Baker's albums that he plays on. Not so much the ones he sings on, even though he's a good singer. I like my jazz sans vocals. It's as simple as that. Next up, now we've reached the holy shit ones, guys. The next up, J.J. Johnson, 10-inch with Clifford Brown, Jimmy Heath, John Lewis, Percy Heath, and Kenny Clark. For those of you who know Blue Note, the 10 inches, like this one, original. Tough to find, even tougher to find in great condition. This one is no exception. There it is, beautiful from a distance. It's got some problems though. It's got a lot of surface, a lot of wear and tear on this one, but I've been assured that it plays through with no problem, but it's got some surface noise. But I got it for cheap, and those 10 inches like that in very good condition are not cheap. So anyway, next up is awesome and disappointing at the same time, because as you guys see what I'm showing you. So what does that mean? It means the album in here doesn't have a sleeve. But the album in and of itself is Sonic, Doug Watkins Quintet featuring Yusef Lateef. It's on New Jazz. This is an original mono pressing. The wax is gorgeous. but there's no cover. But this album in VG Plus, which is clearly what this record is, the complete package is like $300. I got just this disc here for $50 for my guy. So what I'm hoping now is to stumble upon a solid cover. Split seams are fine. I can repair those. A little writing is fine too. With beat to death wax, honestly, that I can get for very cheap so that I can have my full cover record package. So for any of you guys, if you see an original mono Sonic cover with beat wax, whatever, for a reasonable price, and by reasonable I mean I'm not going to want to pay too much money for just a cover, but if you see one, holler at your boy. This is a great album. I'd love to have the complete package. For now, I'm just happy to have the music. But it's, make no mistake about it, it's a holy shit one. But I need my cover. I've always had pretty good luck just finding covers for good prices. So I'm going to take a stab at that. See how long it takes me. It depends on how patient I am. Next up, Groovy, the Red Garland Trio with Paul Chambers and Art Taylor. This is a holy shit title. This is several $100s no matter where you get it from. It just is, and this is VG Plus. No splits, no seams, no problems. Yeah. It's gorgeous. Wonderful album, obviously. That prestige yellow and black label, OG, mono, West 50th Street, NYC address. And of course, I think you guys probably know the instruments these guys play, but just in case you don't, Garland on the keys, Chambers on the bass, Art Taylor on the sticks. Huge want for me for years. Thank you, my boy, Dylan, Noble Records. I'm sure you guys aren't shocked. He got it, immediately put it in my hands. Thanks, man. I'm getting ready to listen to this as soon as I wrap up this video. And finally, the main grail for me, personally, in this stack of recent jazz arrivals is Ibex Blue and Sentimental. It is an original mono pressing. No splits, no shoes, no problems. No writing, no none of that shit. Splat out, strong VG Plus. It is a grail that I just crossed off my list. I've had a lot of luck with Quebec lately. And going into the year, I had none. I had wanted all. I had none. I've gotten 3 in the last couple months. 3 big ones. So I am on a roll for Quebec. I'm on a similar type Quebec roll that I was with Donald Byrd last year, where I knocked so many off in a rapid pace. But guys, if you don't have this, I don't care what pressing you get it. It is major league. It is wonderful. Grant Green, of course, on the guitar. Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. You guys know what instruments they play. Well, just in case you don't, screw it. Paul Chambers on the bass and Philly Joe Jones on the sticks. Quebec, of course, on the tenor. Grant Green on the guitar. But you got to get it into your life. Please do. That wraps up my recent my recent acquisitions. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time. Until next video. Keep dropping that needle, you guys.